Hi, my name's Phil. I like talking about politics, and in this video, contrasting yesterday when I was talking about what may be Boris Johnson's last-ditch attempt to get his no-deal Brexit through, the other side of the Brexit debate and various rumours swirling around about plans to force through a referendum. Now, I have to say I'm not sure how credible they are. Apart from anything else, it would require Jeremy Corbyn to get on board, and I'm not sure he's going to. But first, before we get onto that, if you find yourself enjoying the video, then please click the like button and subscribe to the channel. So there are a number of rumours swirling around at the moment. I woke up early morning to rumours of Labour moving slowly behind a position of having a referendum before a general election. Now, this, of course, would be to Labour's benefit. It is baffling they don't get themselves behind this. We understand, of course, the main reason for this is that Jeremy Corbyn actually wants Brexit to happen, and he wants the Conservatives to deliver it in order to cause them massive political damage. But Labour's position is not going to be helped. Sure, if they can force Boris Johnson to seek the extension, if he physically has to sign the letter and then has to sign the acceptance, and then, like a good little boy, bring the EU Council's inevitable counter-offer to Parliament for a vote, that will do Boris Johnson some political damage. It will not do him anywhere near as much political damage as another referendum, however. The best thing that the opposition could do, and the best thing they've always been able to do, is to replace Boris Johnson as Prime Minister, put in a government of national unity, and then order another referendum. The benefit of this is twofold. First of all, we solve the Brexit problem before a general election. A general election for many people will be about the Brexit issue, and for many people will not, and it should not. A general election is supposed to be about general policies. Which bunch of clowns do you really want running the country, or do you least despise running the country, depending on your point of view? But with Brexit, it muddies the water, because whatever happens, people will say, oh, this Parliament was returned, therefore the people have spoken thusly. But it's not always true, because, as I say, not everyone's going to vote on Brexit. In fact, not that many may even base it purely on Brexit. So the other advantage of putting a referendum first, that completely catches Boris Johnson out. What would he do? In a scenario where you have, I know people disagreeing on various things about what the referendum has, but ultimately there are only three possible things that can be options on another referendum. Remain, of course, we all know what that means. Theresa May's deal, or no deal. Okay, those are the only three things that can go on. Now, which one of those would Boris Johnson back? He can't back Remain because he's a hardline Brexiteer now. He can't back no deal, even though that's sort of what he wants, because much of his party they certainly don't want to be seen to be going along with no deal. They actually really don't want no deal, and he would have to own it, because if it happened, if it won, it wouldn't, but if it did, he would have to own the consequences because he's campaigned for it. Or does he go for Theresa May's deal? Well, he said how terrible that was, and even though he voted for it the third time round, you know, again, he's got another hard section of his party that are dead against that. So none of those options allow him to remain as leader of the party. He would cause so much infighting, and that's the thing, because obviously he'd allow the rest of the party to campaign as they wish, just like David Cameron did. But unlike in 2016, the party is now so viciously entrenched in their polarisation that the infighting would be spectacular to behold. It would be like watching a pit full of rabid wolverines, quite frankly. And this would fatally damage the Conservatives, at least for the time being, almost as much as a no-deal Brexit, only you don't plunge the rest of the country into chaos as well. But Jeremy Corbyn, as I say, wants his Brexit, so he's not going along with it. But there have been rumours that on this, not this Saturday coming, but the Saturday, the October the 19th, when the emergency sitting of Parliament happens, when I believe that Boris Johnson's going to try and get his deal through, There is talk of a bit of a rebellion, and MPs. I know MPs are increasingly going to Jeremy Corbyn, and more specifically to senior members of the party close to him who are more sympathetic, and saying, look, we need to do this, and this is the way out of it. The problem is, if they try and go to the polls after getting an extension, it's very risky. In fact, but this is the problem again with the rumours. You don't know how believable they are. I saw something in The Sun. Sorry, I do occasionally have to read these horrible papers. Now, The Sun is very economical with the truth. It's not above line at all. And there was a little bit of an article in there today that has to be a lie, a complete lie. What it says is, Jeremy Corbyn has apparently said that if Boris Johnson... what it says is, on the 21st of October, Jeremy Corbyn will agree to support a vote for a general election as long as Brexit isn't delivered on the 31st of October. But how's he supposed to know that 10 days before? And we can't possibly have the extension by the 21st. Bearing in mind, Boris Johnson is not going to seek an extension unless he's forced. Which means the best we can hope for is that he signs the letter on October the 19th. Then it gets sent off. The EU Council aren't going to get it till the next week. Then they've got to deliberate. I mean, we hope the deliberations have already taken place, but, they've got to do that. Come up with their counter-offer, send it back. Boris Johnson's got to sign the acceptance, then bring it before Parliament within a couple of days. None of this can happen by October the 21st. So Jeremy Corbyn can't have promised that he would... he'd agree to vote for a general election on the 21st of October. It's absolute nonsense. Seriously nonsense. Because he said he's not going to support it until the extension is secure. And it can't really be secure until much ahead of the end of October. So the Sun was reporting that would mean a general election on November the 26th. No, not a chance. Can't do. It'll be December. We can't realistically now, because Boris Johnson's not going to seek an extension without being forced. We can't realistically have the general election until December now. Unless some very strange sequence of events occurs, such as Boris Johnson seeking and obtaining an extension in the EU summit. Not realistic, is it? So, yes, I would take these rumours with a pinch of salt. I would look at it as, just as there are people who desperately want no deal and they're saying all sorts of things that we're going to do, like the double letter nonsense, there are people on the other side who are equally desperate, and they're trying to talk up the idea of getting Parliament to vote for a referendum. But the issue with that is where if Jeremy Corbyn got behind it, yes, there are the numbers, but only just. But there are the numbers. Without Jeremy Corbyn getting behind it, there are not. There are not that. We're not going to suddenly see all the Labour MPs rebel against Jeremy Corbyn. We're not going to see that. It's not happening. So I don't really see this as being viable. The best we can hope for, as I see it, unless, as I say, something weird happens, is I don't see them persuading Jeremy Corbyn to move for a referendum before general election, even though, I mean, it's a classic thing. I keep saying it, don't I? You always do the opposite of what your opponent wants you to do. Boris Johnson and his Conservatives wanted Labour to vote for a general election. Well, don't do it then. What they desperately don't want is a referendum, because that would cause such infighting that it would really make them look very bad in the country. So do that. And as I say, the final advantage is you get Brexit sorted and out the way, then have a general election. The general election can then be about who people want to govern. And then everyone votes on that basis, not some people voting on one thing and some people voting on another. But anyway, those are my thoughts on it. Take the rumours with a pinch of salt, of course. All we can do at the moment, of course, is speculate on what may or may not happen, because we can't possibly know until October the 19th. But I hope you found the video interesting anyway. If you'd like to support the channel further, then please click the Patreon link for details. And until next time, I'll see you later.